the international economic situation, there has been a turn among the G7 economies, with the possible exception of the United States, towards what is called fiscal consolidation. This has been motivated by a number of reasons, which will be very interesting to discuss, but is beyond the subject of my presentation today. And this has resulted in a further sell-off of state-owned enterprises. So it is for these reasons that I expect that the thrust towards privatization is really far from over. Now let me conclude my presentation by referring you to the experience of Russia. I'm referring principally to the work of Dr. Lawrence King, not to be confused with the CNN's Larry King by any means. Dr. Lawrence King is a reader at the Cambridge University in sociology, and published a paper, a series of papers, including one last year in Lancet. Lancet is the journal of the British Medical Association. And Dr. King has and after the publication of his article, Professor Jeffrey Sachs wrote to the editor of the Lancet and asked him to withdraw that article. Thankfully, the editor of the Lancet refused to do so. But it is very interesting what Dr. King and his colleagues have shown. This basically argues that privatization, through a number of mechanisms which are described here, has basically resulted in a severe worsening of the welfare of the Russian population, resulting in a 6-year decline in the life expectancy of Russian males. Okay? All principally attributable to privatization and some of the other accompanying changes. This chart basically shows you what has happened with male life expectancy, particularly in the former Soviet Union, but also in some of the other economies. And this table is too difficult to read, but I can assure you that Dr. King's article is available on the internet for those of you who are interested. And here you will see the collapse in 2 years in life expectancy following privatization. Okay, the privatization between 92 and 94 resulted in a collapse of life expectancy from just under 70, from just under 70 to a slight, let me just go through the other charts. Okay, here you will see the privatization. I'm sorry that it's probably too difficult to read the details from where you are, but you can see that most of the privatizations took place between 92 and 94. And the adult mortality rates were also affected during this period. The upper line is for Russia, and the lower line is for Belarus. Now, the final two charts I'm going to show you basically deal with how disinformation is perpetuated. This is a chart which was published in The Economist magazine. Okay? The Economist magazine's new slogan is "Interpret the World." Okay? Now, you will notice that the chart takes points 5 years apart. Okay? And it draws lines by connecting points 5 years apart. And not just any 5 years, it chooses 5 years to minimize the drop in life expectancy. Okay? Now, some of you may not be able to see the red lines, which are the actual annual numbers. Okay? The blue line is what the Economist showed. So I'm going to show it to you again in this. I hope you can see the red line above, and you can see the dramatic drop from 91 to 94, and look at how the Economist presents it. Okay? Now, I'm not suggesting that this is what is going to happen in Kerala or in India, but I think this kind of manipulation of statistics is why you had this famous expression from this British Prime Minister, I think, that you can have statistics, and damn lies. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir.